Did you come across a rare $2 bill? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you some extremely rare and valuable $2 bills that you might have worth a whole lot more money than just $2. Now, really quickly, most people think that $2 bills are worth a ton of money. They're very rare. While that can be the case, they actually still produce $2 bills to this day. That's right. The Bureau of Engraving and Printing produces $2 bills, and you can go to your local bank and get $2 bills today. It's actually what I do, and I will hand out $2 bills as a tip or pay with them at the store, and people usually get their mind blown because they never see them. Now look at this bill right here that's on the screen. This is a 1976 $2 bill that sold for $3,960. Now if you're looking at the left hand side of the bill, you're going to see a large H. That is the district seal, which stands for St. Louis. Now if that was an A, it would stand for Boston. Another thing to pay attention to, that H should always be at the start of the serial number as well. Now, if the district seal was an A, then the serial number should always start with an A. If it was a B, it should start with a B, etc. If you ever find that those two do not match, you could have something very rare. Now, the main reason why this bill sold for almost $4,000 is because one of the prints is missing. So most people don't know that the back of the bill is printed first, then the front of the bill is printed second, and then the overprints, which is that dark black and the green ink you see there on the front, is the third and final print. Now when you flip the bill over to the back, you'll see that the back is completely missing. Now if you come across a bill like this, you pretty much need to get it graded and authenticated by a company like PMG. The reason for this is someone will watch a video like mine and say, hey, I can simply get a $2 bill, scrub the back, and make $4,000. Now I highly advise against this because one, it's against the law and you're committing fraud if you do that, and two, morally, it's just a bad thing to do and you don't want that on your conscience. So don't try to do that. Plus, if you submit it to a company like PMG, these guys are experts. They know exactly what they're doing and they will quickly call it altered and not grade it whatsoever. So if you have a bill that is missing a print like this, get it graded so you can sell it for a lot of money, just like this person did that sold it for $3,960, $1,560 for this $2 bill from 2009. Now, one area I want to point out very quickly is the plate position on the bottom right hand side there. You're going to see a small FW before the plate position. That stands for the Fort Worth, Texas facility where this bill was produced. Now that's important because if that FW is not there, that means the bill was produced at the Washington, D.C. facility. Now there are only two places in the US that they produce bills, and those are the two. Now depending on how many bills are produced at a specific facility will dictate how much money the bill could be worth due to supply and demand. So why did this bill sell for so much money? Well, it graded at the perfect grade of 70. Now, how do you get a high grade when it comes to paper money? The first thing is it needs to have no folds on it whatsoever. Once that happens, then you immediately get into the category of uncirculated. Uncirculated is from the grades of 60 all the way to 70. Now, from there, it really depends on the centering of the bill. Now, when I say centering, I just mean look at the margins around the bill, which is that white area. The more centered it is, the better the condition is going to be. Now, look at the previous note really quickly. See how poorly centered it is? Because it has bad centering, the grade did not grade that highly. But because this one has literally perfect centering, it got that 70 grade. Now, I guarantee you that if this bill did not grade this highly, it would have sold for a lot less money. So remember, condition is very important when it comes to your $2 bill notes. So when you're looking at the back of this $2 bill, you would have no idea why it sold for $19,200 until you flipped it over and saw that the third print, which is the overprint, was doubled. Now remember what I said before, the back of the bill is printed first, the front of the bill is printed second, and then everything here that you see that's doubled, that is the third and final print for paper money. Now you have to be very careful when buying or selling this sort of error because this is one of the most commonly counterfeited and altered errors out there. You pretty much need to get your note graded if you have this bill. Now, one way to tell if you have a genuine double print error like this is the serial number. If you didn't notice, the last digit is actually different by 4 numbers. When I see people alter this bill, they usually use the same exact serial number, which is nearly impossible to happen during the printing production. Now, the way I see people do this is they simply put it in their printer and they try to duplicate the serial number and the overprint to make it appear to be like this error. They see a video like mine and they say, hey, if I just figure out how to duplicate this overprint, I can make a lot of money. Well, people that know what they're looking for can easily tell that the bill is altered. If you gave me high-res images, I could tell you immediately that it was fake. This bill, since it's been authenticated and graded by PMG, you've got the money back guarantee by the third-party company, so you can sleep at night knowing that your bill is 100% authentic. Because this bill has a double print error, it sold for $19,200. I won't spend too much time here, but $35,250 for this $2 bill from the series of 1976. Now, this is a serial number 1 bill. Pretty much anytime you have a rare or fancy serial number like this, you're in for a nice treat because this serial number 1 bill sold for $35,250. I'll spend 5 seconds here, but this is a genuine $2 bill. Now, this bill was produced in the late 1860s. Collectors call this a lazy deuce $2 bill because of that large slanted number 2 denomination there. It's a highly sought after bill, and it's from the Nebraska territory, which is a very tough national banknote to collect. Moral of the story here is that if you have a lazy deuce United States bill, get it graded because this one graded at a very good 8, which is a super low grade, and it's still sold for $54,625. $1,610 for this $2 bill. That is a specimen note, so these are really cool. What these are pretty much made for was the United States would produce these and send them to banks around the world that accepted US federal currency. The reason for this is because they wanted to give the bank tellers a genuine example of what US paper money looked like. You got to think, if someone's trying to launder money, what they're going to do is they're going to go to banks around the world. If someone's trying to pass fake money, they're going to do it around people that don't know what to look for. So the US did this to deter counterfeiting and to make sure that none of these banks were getting taken advantage of or laundered fake money through. So what you need to look for on a specimen note like this is these red specimen overprints along with a fancy serial number. So pretty much every specimen I've seen has had some sort of fancy serial number, whether it's a ascending ladder like this one or a solid 0 serial number. Whatever the case may be, typically speaking, specimen notes come with a serial number that is fancy, just like this one that sold for $1,610. I'll be very brief here, but this is a real, genuine $2 bill from this series of 1928. So you know that large bill I showed you before? Well, 1928 was the first year they actually started producing small size bills like this. Now, this is a legal tender note. It's 100% real. You could take this to a local bank and they would legally have to accept it. But you would be very silly to do that because this bill has way more collector value than its face value of only $2. So this one sold for $88,125 because it's a star note from the series of 1928A and it graded at a 65 EPQ, which is a monster grade for this $2 bill. If you have a red seal bill like this from 1928 and it's a star note, you're in for a treat because $88,125 for this bill. The coin and currency mastermind class community is now live. If you want to know how to get the most money for your coins and paper money, click the link below for more information and I'll see you inside.